Hey guys, this is Jerry, welcome to the channel. Today we are driving the BYD Song Plus DM-i. In case you don't know the name, this is actually going to be called as BYD CLTC DM-i or plug-in hybrid in New Zealand and Australian market. First thing, from the exterior, this car is under 4.8 meters long and over 1.8 meters wide, and with a wheelbase at 2.77 meters. That means this is a proper mid-size SUV, like what you can expect from a Kia Sportage, Toyota RAV4 or anything similar. From the exterior, there's quite a lot of striking lines at the back, full tail lights at Build Your Dreams and BYD DM-i. I'll talk about the DM-i later very quickly. On the side, 19-inch alloys that's available on this particular spec. You do have different options in the Chinese market. At the front, quite good looking lines again. Underneath, because this is not a pure electric, you do still get air intake and grille and such. And full premium LED headlights are also available. Next, look at the charging port. In China, this offers just a standard Type 2 charging. This also offers a vehicle-to-load function. This may as well be one of the first plug-in hybrids that's available in New Zealand that offers a vehicle-to-load function. That's really cool. I really love the approach from the BYD design. Opening the tailgate, this version has a power lift tailgate. And that's how the boot looks like. Because you get the battery pack underneath, there's just something going to be storage and charging cable and things like that. There's no space saver on this particular version. I would assume this has around 500 liters boot space, which is more than enough for people's needs. But the rear seats are where the business goes. Let's go to the rear seats just to see how it's like. First thing, look how wide these seats are. Like, it's the longest sort of seats I've ever seen on medium-sized SUV. Sitting, and this has been my sitting position. I've got tons of legroom, tons of headroom, tons of toe room. There's no problem stretching myself at all. The seats itself looks very identical to what you can find on Atto3, but a little bit larger, a little bit wider, and a little bit more comfortable as well. This is a bigger car compared to the Atto3, of course. Air vents up at the back, USB charging at the back, center armrest. That's nice and handy. Everything you feel is all very premium. Closing the door, solid. It's so solid. That's really good, well built. Now let's have a look at the front seats just so I can show you how it looks like. Alright, at the front we have again nice leather wrapped steering and nice leather seats. The steering itself is very chunky. These buttons on the things are very similar to what you can find on the Seal. So this is called Seal U, of course, in the New Zealand market. In the center, very nice layout. This is a little bit different from other things, but very identical. Square panel, a diamond cut gear shifter. It's very small but very easy to use. P button, EV plus HEV, because this is a proper plug-in hybrid vehicle. This allows you to change the driving mode. This is the push button start. In the center, we get the same thing, the BYD screen, tilt, no problem. 15.6-inch display, that's vertical or horizontal, and in front of us, that's over 12-inch display. And this display is really good. This particular version has no heads up. I'm not sure if the New Zealand version will get a heads up, but for the digital dashboard, that's really good. I'm happy with that. In terms of storage, we get two phone holders over here. I think there is one for the wireless charging, underneath deep storage plus USB charging, and a deep center storage console. I love the material quality, everything around the doors, everything. You can feel it's all soft touch. Even this part feels like a leather finish. That's absolutely really good. In terms of controls, these are just similar to the Atto3 or even the Seal. You get all the direct buttons and faster shifting speed. Putting on reverse, that's how the reverse camera looks like. 360, of course, that's a standard. You don't have anything missing from the feature part of it. Alright, now that's all done. Let's go for a drive to see how it goes. Alright, now we are good to go. First thing, the power. The vehicle comes with a dual motor intelligence, that's what BYD called DM-i. So front, you get 1.5 natural gas petrol motor, 4-cylinder, and at the front again, you get an EV motor that powers the front wheel at the same time. The EV motor is powered by the battery at the back. The battery pack, you can choose between 18 kWh battery to a 26.6 kWh battery. That offers somewhere around 116 kilometers or 170 kilometers of CLTC range on pure EV driving. Depends on which battery level you go to. I would say in realistic, both batteries will offer you somewhere around 80 to 100 and maybe 30 kilometers on the WLTP range, which is more than enough for, again, most people's daily use. And that's actually a really good thing on the plug-in hybrids. In terms of power, these combined offers around 173 kilowatts of power and more than 400 Newton meters torque. And that's pretty good for a size vehicle like this. I can't think of any traditional like Japanese car makers or medium-sized car makers offers more power than that on a simple either hybrid or petrol motor. Acceleration wise, let's slow it down to about 50 and boost. That's pretty good. Look at that. The petrol motor will eventually kick in as we are driving on acceleration, and you also can change to HEV or EV, depends on what you want to the vehicle to perform. We can shift it back to HEV and we're driving on sport mode again. So I'll do a slow down again and another acceleration just to see how it goes. From 40, 1, 2, 3. You can see the acceleration, that's pretty smooth. I don't know the exact 0 to 100k time on this particular version, as there are different versions of the battery and other things, but I think that's more than enough for everyone's daily use. Let's go back to the EV mode just so we can try the EV power and go back to the normal mode just so we can try to the efficiency power sort of thing. In terms of visibility, it's really good. I don't get any much blind spot around the vehicle. I like the screen sits lower than the dashboard, so it's going to be easy for you to control these things if you need. And turning are pretty simple. Alright, let's do a U-turn here. Turning circle are really good. Obviously this is front wheel drive, not all wheel drive in the Chinese market. And driving on EV mode, this feels like a proper electric vehicle, mid-size, very comfy, very cozy, and very quiet. There's no transmission, there's no engine noise, there's no emission on the pure EV. And you can see the vehicle is recharging when you really slow down, and you can definitely feel that as well. Let's do a hybrid mode again just to see when the petrol mode will kick in eventually. I can drive a slightly higher speed than this. Yeah, even on this higher speed, I felt like most of the power are coming from the EV drivetrain. I don't get any idling on the petrol motor. That's definitely a good thing. It's just really quiet, it's really cruisy to speed along. Let's do a U-turn again, carefully this time. Look at the turning circle, it's so small, like I don't even need to turn the steering all the way for me to turn around that corner. Wow. I would say the ride quality, the comfortness is actually a little bit better than Atto3, because this is a premium option compared to the Atto3. This is also available in a pure EV version in China, but for the overseas market, for New Zealand, Australia, I believe we are only getting the plug-in hybrid based on the news we've seen online. And that's not a bad thing. The plug-in hybrid is actually a really good option for people who are scared of pure EVs and you want to go to the both part of the world, you want to drive on long journeys, just plug-in or just petrol, that's totally fine and that'll do the job. And this is a really good example of that. Now we're going into the city, let's go to an EV mode again on the normal. We don't want to do a too sporty driving on this test drive vehicle. It's just relaxing to drive. I'm definitely enjoying it, and I would say this does not lose to any of the traditional manufacturers for its standard medium-sized SUV. The ride quality is on top of its game for its price tag. I won't say the Chinese price because New Zealand will have a different price, of course. Alright, nice, we are riding along again. Another thing about the noise cancellation, these tires are really good, or these chassis are really good. It offers none or to minimum road noise. I don't get much out of the road at all. Obviously these roads are really good built, so it's quite flat, it's not bumpy or anything like that, but we did went through a few bumps over there, still really soft as you can imagine. If you are familiar with other BYD vehicles, if you have driven the Atto3, this does things a little bit better than that. Handling wise, it's nothing sporty, it's not super sharp or anything like that, but it's agile, it's light, it goes direction, you can feel around here, it's totally fine, it's totally acceptable for a medium-sized SUV like this, so no issue at all. There is also some level of regeneration braking, but it's very minimum, it's not going to be annoying. And that's pretty much it. That's the part of this video. I hope you enjoyed the contents. If you do not forget to subscribe and like. That would be really helpful for the channel. As always, I will see you next video. Thank you very much.